Welcome back to the Tracy Take. Today, Ryan and I are going to be breaking down all of the Sunday Week 6 matchup games. But before we get into that, make sure that you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell to get notified of new videos. Like this video, comment on the video, and let us know your thoughts. And Ryan, let's get into it. I think this is going to be an exciting week. The first week of buys. So that's actually, I'm very interested in that. But also, since the London games have started, it's going to actually add a little different factor to some of the games, especially for upcoming weeks. So, for example, Miami's playing in London this week, but then they are in Miami next week playing the Falcons. So I wonder how that will affect our judgment, how that will affect the team, so to say. But let's get it started here, starting with the London game, actually. Miami is technically the away team against Jacksonville Jaguars. Miami are 3.5-point favorites with the over-under at 47. Who do you have here in this game?
I'm gonna think the Jaguars are gonna get their first win this year. The Dolphins have not really impressed me since their Week 1 win. They really should have lost in Week 1. The Patriots gave that game away, and I think every week Jacksonville has gotten slightly more and more competitive, and I just think that they're going to keep building on the last few weeks and get their first win. I do want to give a side note and apologize to the British football community. I don't know what you guys did to us, but we have given you 4 of the worst teams.
Hey, what are you talking about? That Falcons game was really good. I enjoyed watching it.
Look, the quality of the games might be good, but they have not sent any actual contenders over there.
No, you're right on that. Yeah, no. You're right on that.
So I just want to apologize for that. But I think the Jacksonville Jaguars come away with this one.
I agree as well. So a neat stat, I forget which game it was, but I think the Dolphins, and 4 of the 5 games so far, actually it might have been Tampa Bay. I think that was the only one. The Dolphins have given up 100 rushing yards in 4 of the 5 games to one running back per game. There's every game a running back has had more. A single running back has had more than 100 rushing yards. Mm-hmm. I think James Robinson is going to have himself a field day. The Dolphins' run defense is ranked worse than Tennessee's run defense, and we all saw what James Robinson did. That's saying a lot. Yeah. I think that they're going to have. I think they're going to have a field day. I also know, so Xavier Howard, I think, is going to match up probably with Marvin Jones or maybe Laviska Shenault. There's probably their number 1 receiver. But other than that, that defense is very weak and has a lot of vulnerabilities. I would not be surprised if it's a high-scoring game because both defenses aren't really that good. But both teams can actually – well, the Jaguars can put up some points without – like if they can keep the mistakes to a minimum. So I'm going to lean towards Jacksonville. I don't know on the over. I don't think I'm going to bet on the over-under. X factor, though, is going to be Tua. Tua supposedly is reportedly going to be ready and back to play. So that will be an X factor, see how he bounces back.
I have an X factor, too. If Tua is going to play, I think the pass rush for Jacksonville will be very important. See if they can dial up some blitzes and get Tua off a spot because he is going to be very uncomfortable back there in his first week back. So.
Yes, I agree.
So, but up next, we have a division matchup going to the 1 p.m. Eastern time games. The Packers and the Bears playing at Soldier Field. You know, this is interesting. I think the Bears have shown that they can put up some fight in the last few weeks. That defense is all that the Bears fans can hope for. So I think this is going to be very interesting. I'm actually going to bet, I think, on the under. Yeah, I just don't think the Bears' offense isn't set up to score a lot of points yet, and their defense is set up to not give up a lot of points.
So I actually think this and the under at
minus Green Bay is 4.5-point favorites, and the over under is 44. Yeah. So I would probably say like 20-14 or 20-17 is I feel like kind of how this game will play out. I do think the Packers just have a slight edge, but yeah, I think I'm going to end up going with the Packers on this. But
and that's what I think. So they do have the Bears do have Allen Robinson. I feel like Eric Stokes is probably going to match up against him. They do also have Darnell Mooney as well. Who's the Bears tight end? Is it
Cole Kmet?
Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
See, with David Montgomery being out, I just don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers put 8 in the box or really stack it up put a lot of blitzes onto Justin Field,
Yeah.
who is a little banged up right now. I agree. I think it's going to be the under. I don't see the Bears scoring too many points here, personally.
Uh-uh.
So I think it's probably going to be something like a 24-7 win. I think so. So also, I think the spread is also in. I think the Packers could cover the spread as well.
Mhm.
Next up, a fun one. I think we're both really high on these two teams. One has a shot to make the playoffs. One does not, for sure. But I think they're fun to watch. They fight. They play with a lot of
Mhm.
grit. But the Cincinnati Bengals are going to the Detroit Lions. Cincinnati is 3.5 point favorites with the total at 47.5. What are just, your overall thoughts on this?
Okay, so I am a big fan of Cincinnati in this one. I think they'll go to 4-2 with a dominant but low scoring win against the Lions. I would probably say 24-14.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really see. I think the Lions defense has done a good job the last few weeks. I think the Bengals offense has some injuries. Joe Burrow has that throat contusion. And I don't know. I just see this one being low scoring, but I think the Bengals will ultimately put on a fairly, I don't want to say dominant because that doesn't sound right, but I don't think there'll ever be a point where I'll be concerned that the Bengals are about to lose. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's going to be a little more higher scoring. So I would honestly actually lean towards the over. Personally,
Okay.
I think the Bengals have I would say an elite offense, but a well above average offense. So do the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he has had 2 games in a row now where he's had over 7 catches
Hmm.
with I think 75 to 80 yards each. He's turning into his number one guy. He still have T.J. Hawkinson and DeAndre Swift in the backfield. Jared Goff is having a good season so far. Then obviously the Bengals offense, we know, like obviously they got the Three Musketeers, so to say, and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Then you got Joe Mixon in the backfield. He's a little banged up right now. I hope is it who's their backup that played really well last week was Perrine. It's like
Oh yeah,
Shane
Samaje Perine, I think.
P Ryan. That's it. Um,
Yeah.
I agree. I think the Bengals are going to win as well, but I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring game, probably than expected. I think both teams are going to be able to go down and kind of
Yeah.
can't score when they want. I think the Lions though are going to make too many mistakes, just kind of how they have been doing. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could see it. I just think my main point is that I think the Bengals are just going to kind of control the whole game.
yeah.
I don't really ever see a point of them getting out of control.
Mm-hmm.
But up next, we have another divisional matchup. The Houston Texans are going to go to the Indianapolis Colts. And before we get into the game, what a Monday night game the Colts had. I
Oh,
know
amazing!
they blew it. They missed, I think, 2 field goals and an extra point
I think
that
something like
allowed the
that.
game to even go to overtime.
Yeah.
Uh, but wow, what a game!
Well, I
But
will say with that was the first time that we saw like, okay, this is the Colts team that we expected in the offseason that we were very high of.
yeah,
Like they looked really good. Carson Wentz looked good. Jonathan Taylor finally came alive.
yeah,
Um, and so I hopefully there's more good things to come for them. They're going to need it. Luckily, the AFC, they're still in the hunt, obviously, with the AFC. That division is not at a grass at all. Tennessee
no,
can easily lose some games here. But the Indiana is 10-point favorites with the over-under at 43. I mean, I think Indiana's going to win, but 10 points, that's a lot. And this Houston
yeah,
team,
yeah.
they can put up some points. And it's not like the Colts offense is spectacular.
Yeah, no. I agree with you. I think the Colts will win. I don't think the Texans defense is very good at all. And so I'm going to take the over on this
Okay.
one because New England was able to put up 25 and they really should have put up 32 because they fumbled red zone. I mean, literally a touchdown if he doesn't fumble the football.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so
Yeah.
I, I think the Colts here are going to beat up on, I think, a pretty weak Texans defense. I don't think the Colts defense is that great, but I think it will be able to give them some fits. So I think the Colts win. I'm not going to bet on the spread, but I will take the over on that one.
Yeah, I think the overall the Texans, Davis Mills had a pretty good performance. I think they can put up some points, but yeah, I think Jonathan Taylor is also going to and Carson Wentz
Yeah,
are also going to have a game for them.
yeah,
So let's see here. Next up is it's going to be the Los Angeles Rams against the highly weakened New York Giants.
yeah.
New York Giants,
Tough
they
choice here.
lost.
Tough choice.
Tough choice. Actually, I can't believe the spread is the Rams are 9.5 point favorites with the over under at 48.5. I can't believe the Colts have a bigger spread than the
Yeah.
Rams in this game. They're going to be definitely without Saquon Barkley. They're going to be. I'm pretty sure Sterling Shepard's still out. Kenny Galladay left. I'm not sure if he's going to be playing or not.
Yeah.
And Daniel Jones is recovered from a concussion. Most likely will not play. Like, how is this 9.5? This almost seems like easy money.
This should be 17.5. Like, this should be an astronomically large number.
See, like that now would be talking. Like that would be something that would be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't see. I mean, the Giants do have a good defense, but I almost kind of want to take the under because I don't know how they're going to score. Like I could see, I could honestly see like how the Bills
yeah.
beat the Texans and the Dolphins. I could see it being like a 40-0, 35-0 game.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say is like, I think the Rams are going to play 3 quarters of solid football, and they're just going to beat the brakes off the Giants, and then they're going to put in their backups, and then that it'll just be what it'll be.
Yeah.
And so I think 35-7 is probably an accurate score for this one.
I mean,
like
do you think they can score a touchdown? Like, genuine question. Like, do you think they could score a touchdown?
Garbage time, probably.
Maybe garbage. Yeah, I guess you bring the second stringers in, but yeah, it's gonna be like it's not gonna be a game, and like especially after watching the Giants, like there are some good things coming. Like Saquon Barkley looks good. I think Daniel Jones has been not above as his expectations are so low. I think he's exceeding them. I think he's been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
And also don't forget they could be 3-2. They lost last second field goal to both Washington and Atlanta. Like they could still be in this team. Like not saying both of those teams are good, but with them being 1-4, they're losing all that stuff, and they're not. I mean, they're not going to beat the Rams. But yeah, like this man, this might be a parlay. I might do a parlay, cover the spread under. Very going to be a very interesting one because I just don't see how the Giants are going to score. I really don't.
Mm-mm. No, because I mean that Rams defense held the Tampa Bay offense to 24 points, and that was with a garbage time touchdown. So
yeah,
but I think for that one I'm going to go with you probably 35-7, 40-0 range. Like,
man, yeah. Like, that's especially at 48.5. Like you have some leeway there. So
yeah. But anyways, up next is an interesting one. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to be taking on the Washington football team. I think the Chiefs are going to have a lot to prove after that beatdown that they took against the Buffalo Bills. What are kind of your thoughts on this? Because I have an opinion here, but
there. So let me, if my computer picks up here a little bit, this game will be going up against the 2 points allowed, the 2 worst defenses in the league, combined with probably one of the best offenses in Kansas City. And that Washington offense isn't horrible. It's not great. Taylor Heineke has been good. Terry McLaurin is one of the best receivers in the league, and Antonio Gibson is an above average running back. Let me double check here. They are both ranked in the bottom 6 in yards allowed as well. And also, let me double check this passing here. Tampa Bay is the worst defense passing wise, and both Washington and Kansas City are here. Let me see here. 5th and 6th. It looks. Sorry. Shoot. Let me get this up here. Oh yeah, they are 5th and 6th in passing yards allowed. So is going to be an amazing high-scoring game. I think Kansas City is going to win. I think this is going to be just like Kansas City when they went to Philadelphia. I think they're going to give up.
Just what I was going to say. You took the words out of my mouth. They're going to give up
so many points, and Washington will be able to score points. They're going to make some mistakes, but they are not going to be able to stop Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. They do have Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out, so they don't have a running back. But I, or is it Daryl Williams? I think it's one of the rookies. Is and it's Damian Williams.
I don't think he's there anymore.
Sorry, cramp. cramp from the golf course today. That's why you ride a cart, not walk. So no, I actually walk, exercise. But yeah,
But no, I think all in all, I think this game will end up being a 45-35 win in favor of Kansas City. I think both of these offenses are really good, and both of these defenses suck.
Oh, God, they're so bad. They're so bad. Well, another thing, too, is there's not going to be, with how great the front line is of Washington, like here, let me double check their sack stats. Like, that's not the issue with this defense. Like, Jonathan Allen has 3 sacks. Montez Sweat has 3 sacks. Chase Young only has 1. But, so, of the front 4, they have 8 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really like they're providing some, I would think, some good pressure. Jonathan Allen has 12 QB hits. Montez Sweat has 6. They have a lot of good QB hits. It's not like they are like not putting pressure on them. I think they could be a little bit better. I mean, it's that secondary sucks. And we've talked about this when we reviewed the Washington Giants game. It seems like their cornerbacks are just giving them like 10 yards of cushion. And Tyreek Hill is going to eat them for lunch. Like, he is going to destroy them.
I agree.
Yeah. On the flip side, though, Kansas City's not going to be able to stop them either. So
no.
But I personally, I think Kansas City's going to win. But if it was a bet, I would honestly do the over. I really think that the over is not certain, but pretty damn close.
Yeah.
But
99.9%.
Yeah. But all right, next up is just going to be another 2 teams that we really like. The Minnesota Vikings are going to the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers should be 4-1. They blew a lead, and I'm, as an NFC South representative, I am rooting for you guys. I hope you guys do well. But I also like Minnesota too. I think they're a really fun team to watch. Their offense has been stalling over the past couple of weeks. So I think that they're really going to be looking for a bounce back week. And this Panthers, I don't know if it's going to happen this week. This Panthers defense is really good. And they did – Cowboys offense is elite. They did put up a lot of points there, but also a lot of those were points off turnovers. And so Sam Darnold had 2 picks that week. He had 3 picks last week. He needs to clean it up a little bit. He's been making some mistakes. But right now, Minnesota is a 1-point favorite with the over-under at 46. That's a really tough line. So it's a pick-em game. It's a pick-em game, essentially. So
I do think the Panthers will have the edge here. I just think that defense is really good. I have Dalvin Cook in my fantasy team, and I'm not looking forward to watching him go against this run defense.
Well,
this run defense is really – well, he might not play, but I have Alexander Madison in case he doesn't play. But all in all, I just think that the Panthers' defensive front is going to be too good. Yeah. I just don't see a way that the Vikings will be able to really create offense just because Kirk Cousins can't sit back there against the Panthers. I think it'll be a very similar performance to what happened against the Browns. I'm taking the under, and I think it'll probably end up being like a 24-14, 24-17 game.
Yeah, so, I think the under –
46 is the over-under.
I know, man, but even then, that's going to be like a 24.
Even if it's 24-21,
that's 45. Yeah, but I'm looking at Justin Jefferson here. Like, I think he's due for. Well, no, he had a big game a couple weeks ago, but yeah, this is going to be tough. I'm going to lean towards the Panthers as well. But I think it is going to be around that 46 range. On the over-under, I'm not entirely sure. I would probably lean – I like to lean towards the over because I still think that – well, no, but there's – well, the thing is that the Philadelphia offense is nowhere near as good as the Minnesota offense. And I don't think the Panthers' defense is as elite as – and I think the Panthers are the number 1 defense right now.
And points allowed.
Yeah, and points allowed. Um, no, Buffalo is. Panthers are third.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, but still,
yeah. It's going to be tough. That's going to be a really tough game to bet on. It's going to be a great game to watch. I'm really looking forward to
yeah.
watching that game.
That's the Patriots play at 4:25. That's probably the game I'm watching at 1:00. Is that Panthers game?
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
So
Actually, I hope that's the game we get here in Nashville.
yeah. Speaking of really close games, this Chargers Ravens game coming up after this is really interesting as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, oh man, I don't know. What do you think? What do
So
you think?
right now, Baltimore's 3-point favorites with the over/under at 52. I let me see here. Where is Baltimore at on their defensive chart? So they're 14th overall in points allowed. Where's their pass game at in yards allowed here? They are not good. Run yards allowed, 466. See, that's my thing. And Los Angeles has one of the worst rushing. Los Angeles has the worst rushing defense, actually.
Yeah,
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Now, and this actually would be an interesting video for us to do at a later time, but a lot of Baltimore's rushing yards, they're from Lamar Jackson. Like they're not, he's
yeah,
the leading rusher on that team. So I don't know if that would say, though, that they are a rushing team, though. I think that would still put them in the passing category, and he just is able to scramble and go for yards from there. So I'm interesting to see if that actually, how that translates over to, I guess, them not really having a running back. Will they try and put some? I know Tyson Williams was back there. I know they have Le'Veon Bell as well on their practice squad. Will they really
yeah.
try and feed him the ball and move him from there? Because they're passing. Let's see here. The Chargers passing. They're seventh in overall passing defense in
Oh,
yards allowed. So
oh yeah.
so I personally, for me also, I kind of want. I'm leaning. I want the Chargers. I'm leaning more towards the Chargers. I just kind of like their vibe, especially after watching them last year. I think
Yeah.
that they're going to win. Baltimore, they're 4-1, but they could be 1-4. Like they have had some very very close.
Yeah,
games.
they should have lost to the Colts. The Colts gave that one away.
They should have lost to the Colts. They should have lost to the Chiefs as well. They fumbled the ball I think at their 25 or something like that. All they had to do was kick a field goal. And
Yeah.
Harrison Butker is, knock on wood, money. The dude seemed like he doesn't miss.
Yeah.
Unless he missed last week and I just didn't watch the game. So
No, he didn't miss.
I don't know.
But I think the Chargers are just too good. The Colts crucified the Ravens through the air.
Mhm.
And the thing is, so we say this a lot. This is a term that I guess has kind of become a theme this year, is the Chargers kind of run the ball through the air. They're really good at getting Eckler out in space, running these short, like 3rd and 5. Keenan Allen runs 6 yards. They're just very good at picking those up. And I think it'll be really hard for, the Ravens offense to get in a rhythm like they were able to do in the second half against the Colts.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm picking the Chargers. I'm going to go 32-24. A little bit of an odd number there, but that's what I'm going with. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm picking the Chargers to win, so I'd probably do the money line bet. But I mean, that Chargers offense has definitely, and they found that Browns defense is good, and they lit them up. So, and I don't think the Ravens defense is anywhere nearly as good. I think it is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I'm probably going to lean probably like 31-24 as well, 31-21 in that range.
Yeah,
so.
But yeah, up next, this is probably the most exciting matchup, in my opinion, of the week. We've had 3 really good games in a row, but this one is a good one to cap it off before we get into some not so great games. The Cardinals are going to the Cleveland Browns, and I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on this, because I think you're really high on both teams, and you have to pick one. So,
well, for me, I mean, I already made this bet because I'm surprised by it, honestly. But so the spread is Cleveland are 3-point favorites, and the over/under, the totals at 49.5. How are the Cardinals underdogs?
I don't know. They're the only undefeated team left. Well, maybe it's because the Browns are undefeated at home, but
I mean, maybe. Maybe, but it's not like going into Cleveland in October is like going into Cleveland in January. Like it's gonna be.
I mean, true. Yeah.
It's, I mean, I think especially off the week after we just saw that defense just get obliterated by the Chargers. Who's to say that Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, AJ Green, Chris Edmonds, James Conner,
It.
like who's to say that
I'll tell
those
you why.
guys? Okay. Well, I'm curious to hear. Like I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think the
Yeah.
over is
To me, the
definitely in
over
play.
under Cleveland by 3 points isn't as surprising to me as the over under being at 49.5. So the reason why that game the Chargers were able to do that was because they have just as good of a run game as they do a pass game. So Cleveland had to play a balanced defense. That's why against the Vikings that Cleveland held them to 7 points was because they came out in a balanced-ish defense and they somewhat played the run, somewhat played the pass. And in the first drive, Minnesota went down, scored a touchdown. They had to stay in that defense the whole time because if they played too much of the pass, then Austin Eckler and that offensive line would just destroy them up front. And that is considering how good that front seven is for Cleveland.
Yeah.
So they had to stay in that and respect both sides of the game. With the Cardinals, it's a little bit different because I just don't think that the run game is quite the same level like traditional run game. I know Kyler Murray can scramble for 55 yards or a touchdown at any moment.
No, I know what you mean. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, I see what you're
I
saying.
just don't think it poses as big of a threat to the Browns.
Yeah, so it's my thing though, and so I'm curious to see here. So the Cardinals, where are they at on? Because the Browns have one of the best run attack games in the league now, and the Cardinals they have the 28th ranked run defense in yards allowed. So
Yeah.
the I did not know that. So those guys could have a field day. They absolutely could. It might be like one of those mismatch things. But when it comes to the running game, though, let's see here. They ran the ball well against the Los Angeles Rams. They had over 216 rushing yards, and I don't think like Kyler Murray doesn't have. He's got 110 rushing yards, but Chase Edmonds and James Conner have been doing a good job in that running back tandem. And then they both, well, Chase Edmonds does more of the catching out of the backfield. He's got 23 receptions of 159 yards. So I think that they can do that both, like kind of similar to the Chargers offense as what we were talking about. Like being able to run the ball, but then also you can pass the ball out of the backfield as well. Mike Williams is your DeAndre Hopkins. Christian Kirk is your Keenan Allen. That you also have on top of that AJ Green. Now Max Williams, I don't know if he's still out. I know he got hurt a couple weeks ago, or it might have been last week actually. So I'm not sure who their tight end replacement is because for like Jared Cook was their tight end last week. But it's to me though I think it's hard to go. It's hard to bet against the number one team in the league right now. And the
Yeah.
Browns could easily be undefeated. They barely lose to the Chiefs, and then they like barely lose in a great game to the Chargers. So they both could be undefeated right now. So that is a fair point to say.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Maybe I've seen the Browns blow it too many times. I don't know. I think the Cardinals are going to come away with this one.
Okay. I'm going
So
to pick the Browns. I think the Browns are undefeated at home. I think they'll have a lot to prove after that loss last week. So
especially the defense.
Yeah. So,
but all right, next up is not going to be as high a scoring game. It is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders going to the Denver Broncos, a division matchup for second place right now in the division. Denver is 3.5-point favorites. The over/under at 44. I'll just kind of start this out. Where do you think the Raiders are really at right now? Like, it definitely seemed like they were distracted against. Like, they should have beat the Bears.
they should have, yeah.
But I think a lot of that has to be. There's a lot of off the field stuff. Now there's going to even more off the field stuff.
I mean, I don't think the Raiders will win. And that's the thing is like they had such a good season and all this stuff came out and now it's gonna the Raiders are gonna pay for it, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I think the Raiders lose this one. Going into Denver is always tough.
I think Denver. Do they have? They're up there. I think with the top defenses. Like they have one of the best defenses in the league. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're second in points allowed, yards allowed. They are third, and it's not really like it's not really like there's anyone super elite on the offensive side of the ball with the Raiders. I think they have a good system, and the guys that are in the system
yeah.
work well. I think Henry Ruggs could turn into something. Josh Jacobs, if they have a lead, can put in a lot of rushing yards. I
They have
think
to
Derek
improve the
Carr's.
offensive line first, but
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
but
But
yeah,
I agree with you. I'm going to lean towards the under. Personally, I don't
yeah,
think that Denver's game is kind of they want to slow the game down, um, control time of possession, then defense does their job. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I'm going to take the under, and I don't know if I'd parlay it, but then I could also probably take the spread of Denver winning by 3.5 as well.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
mhm.
No, yeah, definitely. I agree with that. But
But
anyways, I don't want to spend too much time on these games. I just don't think that they're going to be that great. But up next, we have the Patriots and the Cowboys playing at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. This is an interesting one. I've been saying New England is a kick, a field goal, and a fumble away from being 4-1. However, they are 0-3 at home, and I just don't know if I see it happening this week. Oh, what are your thoughts kind of on this game? Just
what was the spread again?
Dallas is 3.5 point favorites.
3.5 point favorites. Yeah, to me, I think we were talking about that today at golf. As that Cowboys offense, I think, is just elite, and the Patriots defense, they have one of the better defenses in the league. Look at they're fifth right now in yards allowed, and I'm probably looking like top 5, top 6 in points allowed.
Yeah.
I just think the Panthers had the number one offense going into that Cowboys game, and the Cowboys offense was able to do their job. Similar to some of the other games that we talked about, like you just look at that offense. You got CeeDee Lamb on one side, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup on the other side. Dalton Schultz isn't a tight end that you can just forget about. You have Ezekiel
No.
Elliott, and then he's got a good backup in Tony Pollard. Like he does
Yeah.
his job when he's in there. And you have Dak Prescott looking like he's playing at the top of his game. Now that Cowboys defense is average. I think they're around the middle of the pack, which is exactly what that team needs. And
Can I actually? Can I say something?
well, yeah. Well,
I
I was just gonna say I think the Cowboys are just gonna. I think they're just gonna. As obviously, it's what you said. I think they're just gonna outscore New England.
Yeah. I actually don't know how good the Cowboys defense truly is. They have one of the most turnover. Like if you take away the turnovers, and I get turnovers are a huge part of defense, but even if you just give them an average amount of turnovers, I
Mm,
really think that defense becomes very average.
yeah,
Sorry, not very average because they already are average. Below
yeah,
average. I just don't think that they are what they've been made out to be. They just create a ton of turnovers. And that's something that New England has been sadly doing a lot of. Mac Jones has 5 interceptions. They have 4 fumbles in 5 games. So, like, for me, the way New England wins this game is they don't turn the ball over, they convert third downs, and they just win time of possession. Because if you can keep that Dallas offense off the field, their defense can stop them sometimes. Not all the time,
yeah.
but
Well,
sometimes.
and that's gonna be the thing. It's the I don't have it in front of me right now. My the link had to reset, but the over under is at what 49,
51.
51. See, yeah, that's a good point. I think that it's see, like I could see the under because you're right. Like I think that New England defense will be able to stop them. Like they, of course, it was raining, but they stopped the Tampa Bay offense.
Yeah.
They kept them in check. So it is highly possible. I think that uh, New England can stop the defense, but I think the matchup wise, I think the Dallas defense matches up better against New England than the Tampa Bay defense did. I think they're better
Yeah.
at pass. Obviously, they're not as good in the run. But who's the Patriots running back right now? I know they have a kind of running back by committee, but it seems like they're struggling to run the
Damien
ball.
Well, it's because the offensive line isn't as good as they had originally hoped. It's Damian Harris is the main guy, but he's kind of injured. And then they have Ramondre Stevenson
Who I like. I
and
mean, I think he can fill
Brandon
in.
Bolden.
I
He
think
can fill
Ramondre.
in. He's just not quite there yet
Yeah,
in
it's going to
terms
take
of
some time,
talent.
but
Yeah,
he's shown a lot of sparks. I'm personally, I think I'm going to have Dallas cover the spread at 3.5. I know it's in New England,
yeah,
but I just think that off is going to be too much, and they're just going to be able to. And I know that's what you're supposed to do. I just think they're just going to outscore
yeah,
more than what the defense can help kind of provide for the offense.
yeah. I'm going to take the under. I do think Dallas will cover the spread. I see this being like a 27-21 game.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Dallas is going to be able to move the ball too well.
Yeah.
This is one of those quintessential games where I feel like Dallas is going to be able to move the ball well, but not necessarily punch it in, and they'll just kick a lot of field goals.
Yeah, 9 of them to be exact.
Well,
27 times 3. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
But no, I just think that New England is going to struggle on offense again. Granted, I think they will be able to somewhat run the ball a little bit more than they have been in the past against this defense, but
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Dallas 27-21 over New England.
Okay, I like that. I mean, for me, I'm not too sure what the score will be. I think it'll be more than 3.5 points. So, but lastly, get into the final game. One that I think a lot of people probably thought would have been a much better, more exciting Sunday night game, but I think we actually kind of called this one a little bit up to this point in the year. But Seattle is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They will be without Russell Wilson for at least a month with a dislocated middle finger. Pittsburgh right now is 5-point favorites with the over-under at 42.5. What do you got?
I think the Steelers will probably cover the spread. I think the Seahawks defense is not good, and their offense took a huge hit with the loss of Russell Wilson. So, So I just think Pittsburgh's going to be too good. They're going to get after the passer. Geno Smith is not Russell Wilson at all. That's why he's a backup. So
I also think the loss of Juju Smith-Schuster, I think to me, I think both teams know like we're going to struggle to pass the ball. I think.
Yeah.
So I honestly I'm leaning more towards the under. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf with Russell Wilson in the backfield is a dangerous receiver duo. But how dangerous can they be with Geno Smith in the backfield? So it's just going to be different. Potentially some more mistakes will come on. And the Steelers' offense isn't really the offense that we're used to seeing.
No.
I'm surprised that Najee Harris has 307 yards rushing. But that being said, I think the Seahawks might, with Juju Smith out, I think he might, or they might put 7 guys in the box or 8 guys in the box and really make it a tough day.
But even then, their secondary is not very good.
Yeah, but I think that might be like, let's put some pressure on Big Ben so he doesn't have time to read, to go through his reads. Like he's so slow. He's so slow.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think the Steelers win this one. They go to 3-3. But don't really think it'll have too much effect on their season outcome. So, but all in all, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Tracy Take. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.